manageable. If you have a question, put the question in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay?
I was going to suggest keep stuff in the chat so we have a record.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't know how to pose the question. That's my problem.
Well, give it a shot, kid.
And
then put it in the chat.
ChatGPT how to pose the question.
There's no wrong answer. Okay, yeah, ask ChatGPT. No,
what's your question? We'll help you.
Question?
We'll help you.
Wait, I'm trying to find where the chat room is.
Well, ask the question first and then put it in the chat.
Well, I have a large list of people who engage with me by sending me their greeting cards from my previous business.
Right. You had mentioned that last week.
Hundreds.
Yep.
Now I want to have a transition introduction sentence or something to say, oh, hello, it's me again. By the way, have you heard of stem cells? I don't know what is the bridge that will allow them to even say, what, who are you? What, how does this have to do with greeting cards? I want to make a transition type of thing. And I have struggled. I have like 50 different things to try and I don't like any of them.
Yeah, that the way you would go about that, and again, there may be a better way. If a Sherpa joins us, they might be able to be further down the road here. Bernie, you've been playing with ChatGPT longer than me. Do you have a thought on that?
No, I don't have a thought on that, but I would greet them very close to how you did in the past, and like greetings. This is your favorite greeting cards company or whatever person, and like to let you know that I'm in a new role, and then go on from there. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, and I was thinking, Casey, something along the lines of, "Hi, Casey Ecker here. You might remember me from a blah 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 that you sent me, yada yada yada, and I've moved into some exciting new areas that you might be interested in." Something along that lines. A bridge. You need a bridge.
Right. And I want to somehow remind them that we've had an interaction.
Right.
That they were the ones who initiated that.
Exactly.
It wasn't me looking for them. They looked for me.
Yep.
And yes, and a lot of the people, I mean, they tell me their life stories. We get pretty intense. And others are just saying, hey, my mom and dad, whatever, I want to send you cards. And so I just have a very nice answer to them. Yeah. But now to be able, so I'm going to have to tailor this response a couple different ways to people that
I can work with you if you'd like on that, Casey.
Okay.
For free, of course.
Of course, thank you.
and not to circumvent, but I'm trying to come up with a question. So craft an email, and forget about a card.
Right.
But what you put on a card is the same thing you would put in a follow-up email.
Right.
So
craft a message.
Craft an email response to.
It's not really a response. It's I'm initiating this. I'm saying to them.
Follow up.
I don't know. I would kind of start off by thanking them for the cards. Is your reason why you're emailing them is basically thanks for all the cards you send me, and then going, by the way, this is what I'm doing now, which you might be interested in. Remind them of the connection.
The first half of your message should be a repeat of how you greeted them in your old job, okay? And then make the transition.
Well, and the thing is, I'm still doing the other job. I'm not promoting it as much, but I still get, anywhere from 10 to 20 boxes of cards a week.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm still getting a bunch. I have a bunch to answer. Sometimes they email me first before they send the cards. Other times I have no idea who they are or where they're from. They don't have a return address.
So
They don't
these are help me understand. So are these, and I'm actually asking you this because I'm trying to help ChatGPT understand. Um, and myself, of course, I'll give you my opinion. You know that. So is it an informal response to an unsolicited card from somebody? Is it somebody you know? Is it somebody, you said you don't even know who they are, so that made it. What's are these a business card? What are these?
When I worked for the city of Plano, I
Right.
asked employees to save
Are you
me
trying
their
to get a hold of me?
cards for workshops. When I left during that interim, somebody from the office put it on the city's website that I was collecting cards, when in fact I was only collecting them from employees. And then all of a sudden I started getting cards from New York and Florida and Washington, and I'm thinking, what the heck, who are these people? Well, sometimes they would put a little note in there and saying, thank you so much for repurposing cards. It's like, how did you know?
Okay, so these are repurposed. These are people sending you excess greeting cards or whatever that you are repurposing.
Correct. That's
Oh,
what
wow.
that was my previous business. I did repurpose workshops where I would take those cards that people sent me and then teach others what beautiful things to make with them. Then when I hurt my back and started with the stem cell business, I'm not promoting that other one, even though I still do it. But I still get a lot of cards every week.
Cool.
So thanks for the greeting cards. Hey, whatever your name is, or you could, I said make it informal. You could make it more formal. I hope this email finds you doing well. Or it could be, hope this card, whatever. However you want to.
It's an email. It'll be an email.
I hope this email finds you doing well. I just wanted to reach out and thank you for your generous donation of greeting cards. Your support means a lot to me. It will definitely make a big difference in the work that I'm doing. Your donation will go a long way in helping me spread cheer and positivity to those who need it the most. I appreciate your kindness and thoughtfulness, and I'm grateful for your help in making a positive impact in the lives of others. Thank you again for your donation and believing in my cause. Your support is truly appreciated. So you can't accomplish everything in one response. That may not be the right thing, but you could take that and then start to tweak it a little bit. That's
well,
the
I
thing.
already did that. That note, it was in response to their email to me saying, do you still collect? And that exactly what you said. You said it, or
ChatGPT said it. I
did it much better than I did. But basically the same thing. Thank you so much. How generous of you. I appreciate your support, blah, blah. So I already said that. Now I am initiating an email to them saying, remember me, kind of like what Robbie D said. Remember me, we had an exchange, or you sent me cards in the past, and now what? Now I want to tell you about my new business.
No, basically, to be honest with him, I had an issue, and I discovered this, and I'm so excited, that I want to tell everybody about it. I mean, use your own personal,
right.
This is what happened to me. You've been so kind to help me with the cards. Let me help you now with this amazing product.
Hold that thought. Hold on. You've been so cool. I'm trying to write notes here. I like that, Robbie. Perfect.
There, see?
Yeah.
We didn't need ChatGPT. We got Robert Dannenberg.
Hey, I'm here.
Well, that's why I said we're adding hundreds of years of business and life experience that we have to help edit and advance output that we would get from ChatGPT. That's the beauty of inviting ChatGPT to our mastermind,
Absolutely.
right?
Yep.
See, and I don't think I have to worry about imposing on somebody since they are the ones who initially reached out to me. So
Sure.
now I'm just
It's
saying,
just a
hey,
follow-up.
yeah, remember me. And I like what Robbie said too, that I had something happen and I want to share with you. I'm so excited.
Yeah, and I would not make if it were me, and I'll give you just a little nuanced thing, is you see those coming a mile off. They also are like, oh, okay, they've just co-opted this thread. Um, you know, so you don't step on that landmine, or they automatically pigeonhole you into this. I would just add, as if you've already sent them a thank you, or they've already given you this before, right? Then you just say, as I said before, I really appreciate what you did before. So you you don't restate it, but you say it in a way that says, just to remind them, because they may or may not, I get thank yous a lot. We all do, I think. Well, I mean, hopefully we do. People should be kind and appreciative. But the key is that, to remind me that we had a positive interaction is important. And
Right.
to remind me of where it was is important.
Yeah, because they may have only sent you one card or one time a bunch of cards, and then that might have been 2 years ago, and they've completely forgotten. They have no clue who you are.
Yeah. So part of it is just reconnecting those dots.
Right.
It doesn't matter
I
that.
suggest I put in the subject line so that it would get noticed and not just dismissed or.
Yeah, at the beginning, it could be in the subject. Again, headlines are always important.
New
So
news.
it's people won't even open an email from somebody they don't know or they don't remember,
Right.
unless there's something in the subject line, if you're sending an email, that encourages them to remember who you are. So say, oh, this was Casey. Okay, now I need to open this because it's somebody that's familiar. So first,
Well, how about thanks for your cards and some new news?
yeah, could be that. Yeah, something like that could work. It's basically people want to know that this is a continuation of a
Right.
dialogue, not a full pivot. Even though it may be a full pivot from your perspective, they need to know that they're still on a journey with you.
Mhm.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was trying to put forth. Um, it's a reconnection. David, I've got a question.
Okay,
You were comparing Google to ChatGPT,
right.
and is it as simple as processor speed? There's been a processor speed breakthrough. Moore's law used to say that every 7 years, processor speed would double. But with AI, the breakthrough is breaking Moore's law, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's brilliant. Actually, I think that's an awesome question. And it's actually the whole evolution, if you will, of technology from the last 40 years that I've been, paying attention, if you will, has been driven by processor capability, storage capability, and network bandwidth, and the accessibility of that network now with 5G wireless.
Mhm.
Those are all technology infrastructure advancement that are affecting
Mhm.
what was kind of science fiction possibilities to now reality. And every time somebody adds more processor, whether I don't care who's developing the processors or who's providing the network or whatever, every time that's added, because of the internet and because of the availability of information, there are people, good and bad, that can take that and apply it and make it to the next level. We don't have to change the world. We need to change our world.
Right.
Okay. And our world is Casey trying to expand her impact and influence, for
And
example.
sell more things.
Yeah, but selling them in her mind, in her world, and what she's trying to do, and I could say this about most everybody here, is serving not only her bank account, but also her impact. It's serving her why. That's why I talk in terms of impact. You know, that's just the way my mind works. If you think of it that way, you're not trying to sell. Nobody wants to be sold.
Right.
Everybody wants to buy, you know, if it's something that they care about. And so what do you care about? You care about your health, you care about your wealth, you care about your family, care about important relationships. So, and we build networks of trust. That's what we do. So if somebody trusts you and you have something that you can offer them, whether it has a price tag or not, to serve them, then that's a beautiful thing. That's something you can be proud of, you can be excited about, and you can realize what's it worth to you, you know, if you have some kind of degenerative situation, maybe it's just getting old and your stem cells aren't producing as quickly as they used to, because they aren't if you're older. And so what if you could stimulate those like you were 30 years old and start to regenerate things you couldn't regenerate before, or you haven't been able to regenerate because your system isn't working that fast? What if that technology is like ChatGPT, like Bernie was asking, right? And then that technology is enabling you today to do something that you couldn't do 10 years ago.
Right.
Oh, is that amazing or what? I mean, that's what we're doing, guys. Being afraid of it, being unwilling to consider it, being unwilling to evaluate it is not, it's keeping our minds in our own head, not expanding it. That's what we're doing in this mastermind. What other Zip, by the way, I have a free membership. You asked the question in the chat. I have a free membership. Bernie has a pay. I think, Bernie, you're paying the $20 a month, right?
Right. One more question, David, on someone who could possibly inform us. The processor speed has also been a constriction on finding cures for heinous diseases. How is the new paradigm going to help us to cure cancer, Alzheimer's, all those kinds of things? Might there be a breakthrough in that regard having to do with AI?
I think absolutely. The AI is not just with ChatGPT, that because it is a research engine and capturing, you know, everything on the internet through the end of 2021, which is where ChatGPT 4 is right now. I can only assume, and I think it's not, I don't always like to assume, but I can't imagine it not being another next level improvement in.
Why don't you ask it?
In augmenting, right? You want me to ask ChatGPT?
Yeah. How can ChatGPT assist? Put it in the words of Bernie's question. Assist the rate of development of cures for diseases. Blah 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 blah.
Okay,
Let Bernie phrase it.
You did a real good job, Randy.
Because your question was, can it accelerate this process of finding cures, new drugs, new treatments, etc.? And I think that's a great question. Is it a tool for the medical profession? I'd be surprised.
Interestingly enough, David Schmidt, who is the creator of these stem cell patches, he's been working on this for 20 years.
Yeah.
So the research that he has done is going to be available, like you were saying, in minutes. But it's going to be interesting to see. He's got 130 patents on this particular stem cell research and the product. So it's going to be interesting to see if the research then is available to anybody, like the pharmaceutical companies have been trying for decades and haven't been able to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how that's going to impact his study and his
I mean, my guess is the patents are still, protected, so they can't violate the patent laws. So they've got to go to publicly available information. But I think ChatGPT has access to technology advancements that are not yet patented, things that people are working on that they haven't patented yet because it hasn't actually become a solution to life yet. So what does it say?
As an AI language model, ChatGPT can provide information on the latest research and developments in the field of cancer. I just used cancer. I didn't want to pick and every other thing, However, finding a cure for cancer is a complex and challenging task that requires the collaboration of scientists, researchers, and medical professionals. ChatGPT can help by providing insights into the latest discoveries in cancer research, so on, right? However, it's important to note that the finding a cure of cancer long-term goal required, blah, blah. What you're going to find here is guardrails, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So it should tell us what they're doing, and this is smart on ChatGPT's part, is it's giving and adding to the qualifiers based upon certain chats or queries to say, here's what I've got, and here's what I don't have. The interesting thing was we weren't talking curing cancer. We were talking about writing a song last time, right?
Mm-hmm.
With Ricky Jean. It's the same thing, because if you go beyond here's some lyrics and here's a tune you might want to use to here is the music, then you're probably violating a copyright, right? So it's not as serious as cancer, right? But it's also the thing that you need to consider. By the way, Todd, I keep muting you only because your whatever's running there. So if you want to speak, open your mic.
I wonder who that was.
And then close it again, because you're creating some white noise in our background.
I don't know. I don't hear anything on my end.
Okay.
I don't know what it is.
Well, as soon as you started talking,
it may be in your computer. So
okay.
Anyway, if you do me a favor and just mute and unmute, that would be awesome. I don't want to mute everybody because I like the interactive nature of this. It's we can respond. So anyway, any thoughts on that? I don't want to get off.
I think that's a good response. I mean, that's a safe response, but it's an open response. It's a true response. Truth.
I have a thought on that.
They're not overselling. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, one of the things that popped in my mind when y'all were typing that question in about what chat can do with medical research, I've often wondered, and other people have often wondered, is cancer not cured because, in part, that there is big money in the treatment of cancer, specifically chemotherapy and stuff like that. Will this API jump in technology, will that bypass the block that money being made on cancer research, and sort of we don't want to do away with that because it's billions of dollars of profit? I'm wondering if this would bypass that, or somehow will they get their tentacles on it?
Well, let me answer. Can I again, I'm giving you not the specific, but the general. And that is because I've been working with healthcare, for example. Prior to retiring from the corporate world, worked on some transformational things in the healthcare space, more around the processing of payment, the access to services, the direct connection of provider to pay to the end customer, as opposed to having, the government and other entities, what they call third-party payers, into the equation, right? So that's the context in which I'm going to give you my Dave Roberts GPT response to your question, and that is simply that short answer is yes. It can bypass. The qualifier to that is it probably won't, because big corp has its tentacles into this new tool. So there's always going to be a force working against things that would challenge the current revenue stream. That's business. That's government.
life.
That's power and control. That's when the large entities, and again, this is not, don't get wrapped around the axle with all of the stuff that people throw out. Just, again, be real. Think about it from your own perspective, Ricky. I would say my response is simple, and that is, yes, it could. No, it probably won't, or it will have a tough hill to climb when it comes to challenging the current revenue model for the industry at large, whether it's pharmaceutical, whether it's government, whether it's, you name it, right? It's going to have to fight against that. It's kind of like Be Connected. And you say, how is it like Be Connected? Well, because it's a social business platform with some AI and with some things that can improve your control of how you find leads, find contacts, build relationships globally. And right now, all the other players who are further down the road, who already have millions of hundreds of millions or even billions of users, don't want you pillaging their revenue stream by coming up with that. So if you poke that bear, you're going to have a fight. ChatGPT poked the bear, and they decided to get a $10 billion investment from the bear. And Microsoft said, hey, this is an opportunity for me to compete with Google. Google has been with Google Docs, Google spreadsheets, Google whatever, they've been infringing on Microsoft's space, right? And so you as a company, you make a decision. Do I capture it and control it? Do I kill it? It's survival. It's, money's not everything, but if you don't have it, it's like oxygen. So
let me tell you a quick story. This particular company that David Schmidt founded, he started with the Navy SEALs. He was hired by the government to help Navy SEALs and their regimen of exercise and blah, blah, blah. He was under the radar. FDA knew about him. Pharmaceutical companies knew about him. He developed all these different patches, It wasn't until 2019, all these years working on how to activate our own stem cells. And then when that was revealed, oh my goodness, FDA got on, and the pharmaceutical industry, they have done everything they can to shut him down. This product is so popular in Europe and Asia because they don't have that much pressure that we do here. So it's been very interesting to read the history of how this all happened. You think, why don't they want people to be healthy? Don't they want people to feel better? No, that means their sales are going to drop. They want us to use drugs. They want that. So it's been very interesting to watch how Ricky said that. Is that going to impact the sales of drugs, especially with cancer related stuff, if there is a cure? Yeah.
1937. In 1937, they have yellow journalism, and 3 people decided that the hemp
and marijuana should not be grown in the United States and the rest of the world because they knew hemp marijuana had some medicinal benefits, and so 3 people went to the government and said we can't have this because of this. Also, and this is, if you Google 1937 yellow journalism, and Mr. Hearst also had a bunch of forest, and the hemp product is much better for paper, but he was one of the people that was in that meeting to stop the hemp business. So,
But as Casey said, this goes on everywhere. Okay, I wrote, the one who finds a cure or a better treatment for cancer wins. Now, will they have a struggle? As Casey just said, all of the companies who have billions of dollars in pills that are supposed to treat cancer are going to fight it. But ultimately, if it really truly is a breakthrough, somebody's going to buy them, and that will then be offered as a new solution.
Zip, I asked your question. Did you see the answer?
yeah.
Okay, so what here? Let's illustrate here. So that's probably not the answer you were looking for. I just asked the question.
No, that's what I was looking for, because if you look at the scientific, if you look at the second paragraph, that's what they're already doing it. They've been doing it and injecting in cows for 10 years.
Right.
And they can't.
Okay, so Zip, stop drawing conclusions just because they've been injecting it. So what is your follow-on question to paragraph 2?
I don't have a.
I'm trying to help you. I'm now trying to help you learn how to use the tool here, not.
No, that's what. Okay, I was listening to Glenn Beck, and he had a cattle guy on. He's a rancher,
Right.
And so I just wanted to see if that's the question I had, and it came up, and it gave you the right thing about that scientific and ethical questions, considerations that need to be taken account, and so that it's out there. It just proved that they're using it.
Okay, so here's
I guess the
I
answer is
decided
yes.
to do what I asked you to do, Zip.
Okay.
I said, is there a risk in injecting mRNA into cattle? And here's the response.
There could be additional risks associated with unintended effects. So they're being politically correct and truthful.
Correct.
Well, politically correct. Again,
No, I didn't mean that as a criticism.
Yeah, right.
I'm saying they are phrasing it in the proper, so that they can't get sued by implying something that is not, in fact, a full force fact. I think the way they worded that is excellent.
Yeah, because again, this isn't back
I'll be
to
right back.
You're right. It's back to scary versus progress. The thing is, if we decide to check out and let the machines take over, then we've got Terminator. If we decide to stay engaged and make sure that the guardrails are there and serve the masses, the only challenge we have is we have elephants and we have mice. Okay, we're mice. The elephants are the big companies, right? And the government and whatever. And they're the elephants. If you've ever seen elephants in the jungle, right? They're bumping against each other and carving out their own space. And they there's a dance. They call it a dance. Mice get stepped on when the elephants are, because they don't care about what's running around below them unless they see the mice, and then they might be afraid. But the point is, then they get afraid and they want to stomp the mice. So that's kind of another metaphor, if you will, for kind of where we are. But the good news is, as Randy pointed out, that it's a qualified response. It's giving you some information of what hopefully is fact, or at least fact as it's supported on the internet versus speculation. And then, but then it's up to you to, again, you, not me, you, everybody, to kind of filter it through some brain cells, add your own creativity. We all have unique value. Okay. We all have unique and very valuable perspective when it comes to things. You may minimize it. You may think you don't, but you do. So that's the beauty of the mastermind. That's the beauty of networking. That's the beauty of learning from each other. So what else?
I have one last comment.